The Consortium. So you finally managed to survive a game that included owlbears. The trauma is over. This house is clean. Now what do you got to do? Well, first of all, you got to get back to town. You got to buy some more stuff. You got to gear up for the next mission. Your reward for doing something really well, for doing a good job, is more work. Maybe this isn't such a fantasy game after all. I will remind you, as I go through this sequence, I haven't actually done it before. I'm learning as I go. I like the surprise, and I like to share it with you. I also added a little plus extra on the last episode. Remember, our mission was to find the magic stuff. Now, we decided it was runes carved into a rock, and we made a little, one of those like chalk outlines. What do you call those? The crayon that you scribble across, and then you get the impression of the rune. So we got that, and we did it in the first place we searched, which was very fortunate. So we had a little extra time. We went over. We beat up a poor innocent displacer beast. That stuff doesn't count. We don't get any experience for that. All right. So with that out of the way, so we're just talking about the owlbears themselves. What do? Well, the first thing we do is we have a gold star award. Whoever is the MVP, and if you're playing 2-player, you're multiplayer, you can go ahead and have a little vote, or however you want to divide that up. Now I'm going to give that to our tanky boy. Dimly the dwarf is going to get the extra build point to buy power-ups. Next thing you check for is injuries, and we didn't have any of those, so we don't have to, but it's about what you might expect. Right? You roll a D your percentile, there's a chance you're dead, there's a chance you recover fully, there's a chance you're gimpy, there's a chance you get some penalties to your stats. Not too surprising there. Then proof of a well job done. So as I said, we have the proof of completion. We need to get that back to town. We don't get anything yet. This is a lot like AD&D. You don't get the XP for that gold until you get it back to your stronghold. Stronghold being loosely defined in that game, being very clearly defined in this one because it is the village or the town or the city. Shades of Warhammer Quest, we'll see that in the next step. But for now, you do get a chance to loot the bodies. You get a chance to search the battlefield, unless, remember, there's like 50 different scenarios in here. And in a lot of these, it's just get across the table. If that's the case, you can't really stop after the battle is over to look at the dead bodies. Now, in our case, it's a little iffy because what really happened in our scenario is we found the stuff, and we got out of there before the other 4 monster lairs triggered. There was also that Manticore as a wandering monster. We didn't want to mess with him, so we just kind of left. But we did take enough time, I would argue. So the rule here is that the party can gain D10 supplies, each member. All right, well, what I'm going to do, because I only looked at one of the 5 areas, I didn't do a TPK of the owlbears. I'm only going to roll 1 time. So how much booty do I get? I get 8. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a search check. Now, again, everybody can make a search check, but we're just going to give it to old Dexlin Soprazzoli because he's got his bodyguards watching, so only he can make a check. And for every point of success, you get a loot. With a result of a 1, that is an automatic failure, so no loot for us, but we did manage to find 8 supplies. Now we take a look here. When you want to get back to town, if you did an easy mission, you're only 3 days away. The deeper into the realms of chaos you go, the longer it takes, the harder the missions. If you do a hard mission, you have to roll 3 times on the travel events table. I only have to roll 3. So bear in mind, there's a good chance that we lose. I don't know, a good chance. Like I said, I haven't played through this before, but there's at least a chance that we lose that proof of completion, which will be important when we try to hand it back over to the Consortium and prove that we did the thing that we said we were going to do. This was a bit of a step and fetch it quest, which is fine. So now we have, as I said, we have to roll the percentile. And on my first one, I get a 35. So day 1, we make camp, we set out early the next day, and we get 35, which is, you read of 2 heavyweight champions who were recently apprehended for stealing women's underwear. It was a brief crime spree committed by a pair of boxers. Dun 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 dun. All right, hey, but that's great. We like it. Dad jokes, they're all the rage. And as a dad, huge fan. Big ups to Julio and Brandy? Julio and Brandy. Boy, I got it. Yeah. All right. So that's day 1. Day 2, we roll a 68. And we check the 68 entry, and it says, so this is what I mean, right? Like, I don't read through all of these because it's kind of fun. What is 68? It could be good, it could be bad. Smoky, and how appropriate is this? I'm telling you guys, these random checks, like the universe has a way of condensing, it consolidates down. Smokey the Owlbear, feeling the warmth of the fire on your face as you nestle off to sleep, is a small comfort that reminds you of home. Memories of winter mornings snuggled at your father's feet with a cup of mulled cider. Wait a minute, you put the fire out before you lay down. At least, dun dun dun, you thought you did. It seems like someone, I'm looking at you, yes, you, I think we're gonna charge dimly with this one. Missed an important lesson from Smokey the Owlbear. By the way, did you know Smokey the Bear was a legitimate bear? I stumbled across a little thing on the internet, as you do. He was a bear that survived a wildfire. They named him Smokey because of it. And then they said, like the National Park Service said, he'd make a good mascot. This was probably back in the 60s. You can find a picture of him. I don't know if they've ever found a live owl bear, though. When they find the cryptids, they tend to keep that under wraps. Anyway, you barely manage to get the fire under control, and it burns the rest of your gear. Good job, Sparky. All party members lose their supplies. Okay, the owlbear curse is back on. So those 8 supplies we found are gone. We're not going to make as much off of this as we thought. 99 can't be good. Game design authors generally tend to put like really gnarly stuff. Well, maybe it can be good. Maybe it can be really good. They usually put the really good or the really bad stuff at the O's and the hundreds. Catching up with an old friend you meet on the road, he turns to you and says, "Let's go get a drink. There's a new place that does the best punch you ever drank." The group makes its way to the bar and walks straight to the bartender. "Bartender, 2 glasses of your best punch, please." The bartender replies in a stern voice, "If you want some punch, you're going to have to get in line like everybody else." You turn and look around, but there's no punch line. We're just going to let that one steep. We made it home. We got through our 3 days, and all it cost us was 8 supplies. So the owlbears got their revenge. But we did manage to hang on to our proof of completion. What does that mean, I hear you ask? Well, if you have an artifact, you might be in trouble. You guys are a bunch of rookies. They're not going to let rookies carry that kind of power around. Your guild is probably going to yank it from you. But for us, now that you finally made it back, you go to the guild house and collect your mission rewards, as well as a loyalty for hirelings. Save or spend your BP, update his sheets, loyalty because brother in arms, and then you choose your next mission. So here we are with mission rewards, based build points, and loyalty. And there's a couple of other things we have to do regarding supplies. But before we get there, I do want to point out that there's not 99 possibilities, or 100 possibilities rather. It's percentile dice, 100 chances here. Some of them occur more than once, but you also have these little mini games that develop, right? Abandoned camp. What's in it? Nothing. Could be a booby trap. Could be a trap, right? Might be worth something. So there's a lot more than just those. It's real. That's what I mean by it's. There's some of these are pressure luck issues, right? A babbling brook. You take a fall, bit of a tumble. Is it worth it? Study the side of the ravine. Whatever it isn't worth risking your life. So, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Some of these are really almost mini adventures in and of themselves. The Fugees, right? We run into some refugees. There's even like an Orcish Trail of Tears here that really gets involved. So really, big ups to that. There's a lot to explore just in the getting back to town side of things. In our case, we were working for the Arcanum Ministorum, and as I said, we did an easy mission. We get 1 5 build point scroll. Because we did the 5 magics, when you get back to the city, for this power-up level alone, all of your trait spells and enchantments cost 2 build points less to purchase. But you have to add the full build point to your traits value. In other words, if I have 3 build points to spend, I can buy something for, well, if the power-up normally costs 5 build points. I can buy it for 3, but my character stats, as far as how experienced he is, I still have to take the hit for the full 5. I think that makes sense. You're a smart guy. You can figure it out. Now that we're in town, we have even more fun things to do. We can visit the merchant square and buy stuff. Use a professional skill, right? So if one of your guys is a thief, you can do a little second story work, right? Pay for guild training, schmooze about, right? Do the whole thing. Spend some money, hit the taverns, listen for rumors, all that stuff. Seek out artifacts. I'm not going to do that. And everybody gets to do one of these for free. Then it will cost 5 gilder for each event after that. So let's start with Grass Toucher the Elf. He gets to do one for free, and he has a skill. Remember, he's got charisma. So he's got +1 presence, and he has this thing called Out on the Town, which means that we get a +1 on the secondary results on Go Out on the Town. Let's give that a shot first, shall we? We probably want to seek out new missions as well. But first things first, let's see what Out on the Town looks like. Random events. When you're on the post missions, go out on the town, roll a D100. So again, we get to roll our D100. We get a 68. Second time we've done that. Kind of interesting. So now we're out on the town. And this is the secondary events that I was talking about. You can get a +1 on this secondary roll because he's got such high charisma. So I'm guessing that the good results are at the bottom of those lists. Let's pull out so we can see all of the different results here. That way you can keep me honest. Basically, we're walking through town. We see a funeral procession, and old Grass Toucher bows his head, and he's a little confused about these funeral things because he's an elf. He lives forever. You know, that's not as big a thing in the elven world. They usually get on boats and sail to the west. As it's passing, he swears he can hear a muffled screaming. It says, if you choose to investigate, roll a d10. Well, yeah, we're going to investigate. That's what adventure is all about, right? This is too powerful a hook. With a 9 +1, that escalated quickly. You wait until the crowd disperses, sneak up to the casket, begins to jar around. Suddenly, the lid bursts off and goes flying through the air. Ghastly shriek. Much to your surprise, a bedraggled-looking Arcanite jumps up, tripping and falling in a tangled mess of robes and funeral linens. He manages to get to his feet and says, what day is it? Never mind, what year is it? You inform him and he says, well, I guess it's back to the drawing board for that spell. Utterly confused, you watch as he pulls a wand from his belt, opens a portal before stepping inside and vanishing. That's when you see it, half hanging out of the casket. The Arcanite has left something behind. Roll D10 on the Greater Clothing Jewelry Artifact list to see what it is. Hey, that's great. So if we'd rolled an 8 because of our +1, this goes from a 20% chance of getting magic loot for, helping a guy or just standing around and watching and realizing that he dropped his purse. That's what heroes do. So now we get to roll on the thing. There's no one else around. You help yourself to the artifact. Oh, artifact. Well, it might not be an artifact, but we're going to help ourselves to it anyway. Let's take a look at the Greater Clothing and Jewelry. Oh, it is. It is on the artifact list. We might get in trouble for that next time. And that's going to be a 00 Shroud of Taurine, +2 evade against all melee and ranged attacks. Yeah, boy. I don't know if we have to go through the whole artifact thing. Maybe we do next time. Maybe because we kind of pick the guy's pocket, we just hang on to it. We'll sort that out later. For now, nice. We're going to send Dimly out. What do you think? Do we want to see what magical items we can find or schmooze to talk Dimly is going to pay for guild training. We're going to try to level him up. Roll a d10 for every 10 gilder you spend. He's got 31 on him. We're going to let's spend 20. I'm going to roll 2 d10, get 2 results, and let's see what happens. I get a 5 and I get a 7. The result of a 5 is business as usual. Attend the class. You may add 1 BP to your current value to spend any time after your next mission. And the 7 is the same. So he's got +2 build points to spend. And that gives him a total of 3 build points to spend after his next mission. Well, I guess we could probably spend the one of them right now, right? We can get a power-up for 3 build points by spending just the 1. I'm going to take Evasive. It only cost me 1 point because of the benefit of this mission. But my trait level, which was at 11, is going to go up to 14. So my total build cost goes up by the full 3, even though I only had to spend the 1 point build point on that. And I still have 2 build points that I can spend after the next mission. Dexlin will seek out new missions. All right, here's the way this works. Roll a d10, and for every 10 guild reputation you have, you can increase or decrease it by 1 in every direction. I don't know what my build reputation is, so I'm just going to roll a d10 and see what happens. On a 3 hard times ahead before you make it to the board, you can tell it's going to be slim pickings. There's only 1 contract nobody wants. No wonder nobody wants that. You grab it anyway to take to the rest of the party to decide. Your alternate mission must be one that has a boss and can only be done on hard mode. So our next mission Oh, wait, this is for alternate missions, huh? But some of these allow you to play out individual missions. For example, there's one here called I'm a Thief, Not a Treasure Hunter. This is a mission that you could roll on your way back to town. Or if you get this on the seek out missions, then you can get it. So we could probably pick our own. This is basically a way to level up. Normally, I think we'd be playing on normal difficulty, but if we want to play on hard, we now have that as an option because we rolled for seek out new missions. So not a huge amount of leveling up this time around, but bear in mind we did. I feels like I'm missing something, right? It feels like you should get a little bit more power ups, but given how quick our last scenario went, it's possible that this is pretty standard. If I play a different mission with a lot more, if it's like a full scourge mission where I'm trying to like completely do a board wipe, then I may get build points based on the number of people that I kill. Very different. So the nice thing about this game, I mean, it stands to reason, right? It's 148 pages here of solid content. You're not going to be able to exhaust this in years of play. It's I don't want to say infinitely replayable, but it is well worth the money to pick up a hard copy. I'm not sure what mission I'm going to do next, but I know it's going to be a boss mission, and I know it's going to be on hard because we had too easy of a time of it. And I want to see if a hard mission is going to give us better level ups on the next time we sit down to do this kind of interlude style video. So tune in next time. I'll probably just build the scenario, figure it all out, and then just dive right into it head first. Because 30 minutes, the video about designing a scenario, I'm not sure how interesting that is for everyone. Let's just get some miniatures on the table. Until next time, I'm praying for you.